Hi everyone, this is Wayne Rivers at Performance Construction Advisors, where we build better contractors. We've got a boot camp coming up in September in Denver, so contact Charlotte for more information there. And this week I want to talk about in every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. This is a great story that I found in the CEO newsletter that I take. If you haven't signed up for it, you really should. It's good stuff. And it's the story of Kevin Hancock, who is the 7th generation chief executive of Hancock Lumber, which I think is based in Maine. The story relates a very stressful time around 2010. If you're in the lumber business and most of your product goes probably towards home building or some related industry, and in 2010 there was a housing collapse. And suddenly Hancock Lumber's sales are going in the wrong direction. In addition to that, Kevin Hancock was afflicted with a malady called spasmodic dysphoria. Now, what is that? I'm not a doctor, but RFK Jr., who's in the news quite a bit right now, is when you hear his voice, his speaking voice, he also is afflicted with spasmodic dysphoria. So you know what it means, what it sounds like. All right. So Kevin Hancock says, quote, "Suddenly pushing out a few short words became this athletic task I tried to avoid." That's how difficult an athletic task, speaking, an athletic task that he was trying to avoid. That's really quite amazing. Now, what about this is important to you? This is a great story of that inside every dark cloud there's a silver lining. This is a dark cloud. Their sales are going in the wrong direction, and he's got this real health challenge that just, boom, popped upon him, and nobody exactly knows what to do. So this is a great, I guess, a learning experience for all of us. He said, "I could no longer lead the way I had." He said back then he led top down and directing from the center. I'm not sure what that is, but I guess if you think of a wheel, the spoke of a wheel, and he was the center of the wheel, and communications would go out to others. But that's the way he ran his company, top down and directing from the center. He said, out of necessity, he stopped giving answers to questions. And what did he do? He started asking the question simply, what do you think we should do? What do you think we should do? Such a powerful business question. People naturally, I think, try to delegate up. They want the approval of the boss or the senior leader or whoever it happens to be, and they want to collaborate. But all too often, inadvertently or not, they delegate up. And this is a perfect way to deflect that. What would you do? He said that, quote, "People already knew what to do. They hardly ever needed top-down, CEO-centric leadership." I agree with that 1,000%. If you've hired truly competent people who are capable in their fields, they really don't need day-to-day guidance, and you know where we stand on micromanagement. So they don't need that. Competent professional people know what to do. They need a sense of direction, a sense of belonging, a sense of mission and vision. But they don't need the senior leader to be hand-holding and saying, this is the way you do it every day. So they developed a new system that Hancock referred to as shared leadership. He said the main part of the overhaul was they decided to prioritize their employees over everyone else, including customers. He did say that customers are a close second. But prioritizing employees, number one. The way to make your customers happier is to make your employees happier first. If you've got happy employees, that's going to translate to happy customers. He said they made more money after this change. They made more money between 2012 and 2020 than they had in their previous 163 years of existence. So this sounds sort of nebulous, shared leadership and making employees the highest priority. But what he's saying here is that change affected their company so profoundly, it showed up on the bottom line. And let's face it, as business people, we like it when our initiatives show up on the bottom line, and this one clearly did. He said their employee engagement ranges from 86 to 90%, which is double the national Gallup average, which is really quite amazing. And he gave 3 tips. 3 tips as you think about your own journey, your own ability to delegate, your own ability to ask the question, what do you think we should do? Number 1, redefine who gets to lead. In most companies, people who are technically competent tend to get promoted and rise in the organization. And he said that human beings are greater than, using the greater than sign, human beings are greater than technical skills. Human skills greater than technical skills. As we talk about EQ, for example, they learn to prioritize EQ over IQ and technical skills. The second thing is, he said, in nature, power is dispersed. I had to think about that for a minute. I think about, the forest and the animals, and, there's no dominant force in there. There may be an apex predator, or there may be, who knows how it works exactly, but it is dispersed. If the apex predator and that ecosystem dies off the face of the earth, then does that really affect the forest? No, another apex predator will likely rise to take its place, and nature continues. So in nature, power is dispersed, and I like that. I like that analogy. He said that in his organization, what they believe is thriving humans produce thriving humans. In the peer groups, we say iron sharpens iron. So I agree with it 100%. And the third and final tip, he said, is lead from a full cup. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Obviously, when he had this ailment, he had to prioritize taking care of himself. He also said be authentic. And he learned he's better at asking questions than telling. And so this idea that he learned to simply say, what do you think we should do, was a transformation point for Kevin Hancock. And I wonder if it could be a transition for some of us in our audience who tend to be a little bit on the assertive side perhaps, and maybe asking questions would be a better way. So what do you think? Email me your responses and let me know, and we'll have a dialogue about it. This is Wayne Rivers at Performance Construction Advisors, where we build better contractors.